Hello friends, happy Tuesday, happy Tarot Tuesday. I hope everybody is doing well and enjoying the energies of the Lionsgate portal. Yes, we're still in the energy of the Lionsgate portal until August 12th. And honestly, I've actually seen some posts about it being even longer than that, which I think ultimately it's how long we choose and decide to ride those waves, how long we have those energies in our awareness that determines how long they're present for us, how long we can tap into the energy and harness it for our intentions, for our manifestations, and all of that good stuff. So I hope you all have been having an interesting time. I'm not going to say a great time or a bad time, but an interesting time, and that you're feeling shifts. And shifts can at times be uncomfortable. And I wanted to come on today before we do our reading to kind of share a little bit about some of my lessons this Lionsgate portal. And I think it's been very interesting, and I've heard other people and what they're going through, and I think on a global, maybe on a collective scale, we're shifting the ways in which we're feeling a lot of this, and the ways we're understanding a lot of the concepts that many of us know intellectually. We're finally starting to embody and understand instead of just understand. So they're coming in deeper. The lessons are hitting home, I think, at least for me, for my husband, and for a lot of my friends, a lot of people that are in the healing spaces. It seems like we're starting to embody some of these lessons and truly understand beyond the concepts what these lessons are. So in my case, I shared last week, my husband and I are doing this 30-day sex challenge, which has, I don't even know if we are already completed the 30 days or not, but what is time anyway, right? The lessons are still coming in very strong. And for the past week or so, I feel like the lessons have come in on a deeper level. And as we're opening up to what our relationship truly is, what it's becoming, how it's unfolding, as our intimacy is deepening, it requires us letting go of old attachments to the way we perhaps thought our relationship should be. At least for me, I had an attachment to what my relationship had to look like. And because it doesn't look like that, there was a period of mourning. I went through a couple of days last weekend where I was in deep grief and mourning what I expected from my relationship, what I expected it to look like, right? Because what I expected from it is I haven't been disappointed. It's actually beyond what I could have expected, but the attachment to the story that I had is being released, and it feels painful. When you're releasing attachments, it feels like it's being ripped out of you, and it's been very emotionally painful, but also exciting. So the other day, we have our morning ceremonies with cacao, and sometimes we sit with rapé as well. And so the other morning, I was kind of feeling something, but I wasn't exactly sure, and I was kind of still in this protective mode of there's nothing wrong, I'm okay. And as soon as I sat with rapé, the tears just flooded out of me. I was crying, and I think I had just taken the rapé, and I looked up at my husband, and tears started streaming down my face, and I was like, I feel grief. I'm mourning right now. And I went into what I was mourning, what I was grieving. And as we were having this conversation, I was like, I'm in deep shadow work. I feel miserable right now. And he said, I thought shadow work was your love language, because I'm always saying that I love shadow work. And I was like, it is. I'm excited about the fact that I'm in this place. I'm excited that I'm going through this lesson. I said, I feel miserable, but I'm excited about the fact that I feel miserable, because the miserable part is the part that's letting go. And so I'm excited about the fact that I'm letting go of something, and that it's something so deeply that I've attached myself so deeply to, that it hurts this much, that I feel miserable. And if it's that deep, then that means that it's creating a blockage for what I have the ability to manifest or create. So it was like such a weird sensation to be in it, to feel absolutely miserable, and also to feel absolutely excited about where this was taking me. And it really solidified my beliefs, my ideas of death and rebirth, right? Because I'm a huge fan of the concepts of death and rebirth. I love this whole idea of unbecoming and allowing your true self to emerge. And so I think there was a part of me that felt it as like, oh, there's a death and then there's a rebirth. But the truth is that as you're dying, you're being reborn. It's the exact same process. And so you can choose what you want to feel in that moment. You can choose to feel the mourning of the death, or you can choose to feel the excitement of the rebirth. And it was a really fascinating sensation, because I felt like in that moment I could go in and out of whichever option I wanted to tap into. If I wanted to tap into the miserable part of it, I could tap into it. And if I wanted to tap into the excitement of it, I could tap into that also. And I had a choice. I had a choice of which one I could slide into at that time. And in that moment, I wanted to be in the misery of it. I wanted to feel the discomfort, the grief of it, because I think that we have a tendency to want to feel the good part of it. Let's look at the bright side. Let's look at what's going to come next, or let's look at what we're attracting or what we're making space for. And that's all great. I think that's fantastic, and I think that's a great practice to have. And I practice gratitude, and so I love tapping into the bright side. I do that with my husband also. When he gets frustrated about something, I'm like, well, what's the bright side of this, and how can we tap into that? At the same time, I want to be in the discomfort of it, because that's also the experience, right? Without being in the misery of it, I'm not fully experiencing the misery of it. And I believe I've shared this before in I don't remember if it was a live or a podcast episode, where I read the book Existential Kink. And in the beginning of the book, the author talks about the story of Persephone and Pluto. And the idea being that Persephone creates Pluto to basically to torture her in some way, right? To create this extreme separation, to make her forget that we are one and the same, right? To create this illusion of separation so deep, so strong, that it would create the desire for her to come back to unity, to oneness, to all, to God, right? And so I think that, in order to truly experience that, she has to experience the depths of separation. And I think that the more we deny the illusion of separation, the more we deny those emotions that come as a result, the harder it is for us to also feel the bliss and the joy of unity, because we're not allowing ourselves to go too far in either direction, right? It's the polarity, and at the same time the duality, right? The duality but they both exist at the same time. So I can exist in the misery and also in the joy at the exact same time, because they're both the exact same experience. The death and rebirth are the exact same experience. I know sometimes I feel like it sounds a little bit insane, but But I felt it very deeply. I felt it, I still feel it to my, in the core of who I am. And I feel like today has also been some of that energy where I've been feeling this deep frustration and at the same time this deep gratitude. And so, you know, like, it's super hot today. It's like 96 or 97 degrees out, and it's super humid. And I get very uncomfortable in the heat. I don't like it. It frustrates me. I get cranky. And so I've been in this weird mood today where I'm cranky and I am impatient and frustrated, and at the same time feeling moments of joy and gratitude. And it's like I slip in and out so quickly, not in an uncontrolled way, but in a way where I can see, oh yeah, I can choose to feel this way. I can choose to feel gratitude. I can choose to feel joy. I can choose to feel excitement. I don't have to stay in the discomfort, but I can choose the discomfort too if I want to have that experience as well. And I think that when we learn to navigate that duality, that both can coexist, then we have an easier time of slipping out of the uncomfortable feelings and going into the joyful feelings, or even embodying both at the exact same time. And I think that that's such a powerful experience, to be in this place of being able to experience both at the exact same time. And I think that right now the Lionsgate portal, the energies of the Lionsgate portal are also death and rebirth. It's this alignment, this new cycle, and it's time to be in our true joy, to be in that space of magnificence, of owning our essence, our sovereignty, our joy, all of what we are and who we are. And when we deny the uncomfortable parts, we deny all of ourselves, right? We're denying part of ourselves, which means we're not embodying our full selves. And so that was like a huge experience for me, to be able to navigate both the dark and the light at the exact same time, to feel that they are one and the same. And that is what unity is. That is what oneness is, both the light and the dark. And to be able to experience both and make the choice of what I want to experience in the moment, and know that I also have the responsibility of experiencing the darkness within my experience, or within my manifestation on this earth, so that I can welcome in the joy and the bliss and the gratitude, right? We have that responsibility of navigating our own emotions and not suppressing them, because when we suppress them, then we also don't allow ourselves to fully tap into the bliss and joy that exists on the other side of that coin. And it is all just one coin, right? Regardless, again, we can choose which side we flip that coin to. So that's just a little bit of what I've been experiencing these past few days. And I feel like yesterday that we were in the energy of the Lionsgate with the 8-8, the infinity, and also that infinity symbol, right? It's a continual symbol, and it has its ups and downs, and it has its twists and turns, and that's what our life is. That we are on an infinite ride of waves of up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's so beautiful when we allow ourselves to feel into it, to allow both that dark and that light to coexist within us in a way where we're not letting it control us, but instead navigating those waves, right? Letting ourselves ride the waves. So that's really exciting, I think. And from what I've seen and what I've heard from friends of mine that are also on this path, a lot of people are really feeling into that, into the duality of that. So I think we're living in exciting times, and I think we have the opportunity to tap into these energies, to allow these energies to guide us, right? To guide us without controlling us. And I think that's where the balance is. And it's not always an easy balance. Like I said before earlier, I was feeling frustrated, and it's almost like I could see myself being frustrated, and I would have these moments where I was also really excited but frustrated at the same time. I don't know. It's really interesting. So we're gonna pull a couple of cards today and see what what the tarot has for us. Let's see. All right. Oh my God, this is so funny. This is the Ten of Wands, which I'm laughing because my friend Carla Mora pulled the Ten of Wands this morning as well in her reading. And so the Ten of Wands is kind of, we're getting to this end of our journey. We're shifting, right? This is the death and rebirth. But in order to allow new things to come in, we have to be willing to put down the things that we are no longer needing to carry, right? She has this balance act here, which is carrying both a child and these wands. And so wands they represent our inspiration, they represent our creativity, our passion. It's the fire element. And I like this option of this balancing of the child, right? Your childlike enthusiasm. And then all of the wands, or all of, perhaps even all of our responsibilities, all of the things that we feel we must carry with us. And we always have the option of going back and forth, of choosing between the childlike enthusiasm and our responsibilities. Both can coexist. We have the option of allowing them to coexist. In order for us to allow ourselves to move forward, it's also necessary to put down the things that we no longer need to carry. And a lot of us are carrying we're carrying intergenerational trauma, we're carrying childhood experiences, childhood traumas, childhood stories, limiting beliefs. So all of these things, we can make the decision to put them down, to let them go, so that we can start calling in what our passion is, right? What our childlike enthusiasm wants to do. I think that for me, I have a tendency I'm still working on separating what my true passion is, what my true desire is, to what I feel like my responsibilities are. And so that's part of what I was frustrated about today, feeling like I wanted to do a bunch of things, and I ended up, going out and doing stuff with my husband and with our son. And there was a part of me that I was like, yeah, I do want to do that, but I also have things that I want to do today. And so we're learning to navigate this, learning to use our voices and speak up, and remember that the journey is in the balance, right? In order to get to where we want to go, we have to be truly willing to speak up, to tap into our intuition, to tap into the things that really excite us and bring about our inner fire, and choose what we're ready to let go of and what we're ready to embrace and take on. So that's the Ten of Wands. The next card is the Moon, and the Moon is that which illuminates our shadows. And as I was saying before, I'm a big fan of shadow work. My husband says that my love language is shadow work. And so this is all about illuminating the parts of ourselves that we are still not comfortable bringing forward, right? I'm still in a place of learning how to show myself. Doing an Instagram live and sharing a tarot reading is still uncomfortable for me at times, and I still have to push through those feelings of fear of being seen, fear of sharing something. What if I'm wrong? What if it doesn't resonate? What if, a million what ifs? And those are the old stories that I need to let go of, that come illuminated every time I make a choice to do something that excites me. When I make the choice to do something that excites me, the limiting beliefs are going to pop up, and they get to be illuminated. I get to choose how I respond to those limiting beliefs. Do I want to honor them and take care of them? Like little baby Vanessa, what are you afraid of? Little baby Vanessa, what do you need in order to feel safe in this space? What do you need in order to feel safe and held while you go out of your comfort zone, right? And for me, a lot of times it means sharing that with my partner, sharing that with my best friend, telling them I feel uncomfortable, that I feel insecure, that I feel afraid to show myself, and I have a really great support system, so here I am, right? They show up for me and they remind me that I'm safe and that it's okay for me to show myself. And so this is a great time for us to take a look at what is being illuminated. We're getting to this full moon phase in a couple of days, and it's a great time to take stock at what's hidden, right? What's underneath the surface, what's underneath those defense mechanisms. I was recently talking to my husband about things that I used to say to ex-boyfriends and ways in which I was snarky and sarcastic. And as I was sharing these things with him, I was like, oh my God, this was so a defense mechanism. Because I was insecure, I would use sarcasm and snarky comments to cover up my insecurity and to pretend like I was cool, calm, and collected, when really I was terrified of showing myself, terrified of being vulnerable. And so on that note, here's the last card, which is the Three of Swords. I like to call this card my Rumi card. It reminds me of the Rumi quote, "You have to keep breaking your heart until it opens." So the Three of Swords, this card came out in reverse, and so reversal cards for me are like invitations to look into what this message is. And this message is about being vulnerable and allowing yourself to get hurt, allowing yourself to break open. And as I said earlier, this challenge that my husband and I are doing is causing me to look deep within myself. It's causing us to be a lot more vulnerable and break open, which is why there are days where I'm mourning, where I'm feeling grief for the things that I thought I wanted, the attachments that I still have. And so as I break through those attachments, I have to allow myself to feel the grief, right? Because if we suppress it and say, oh no, I don't really care, I didn't want that, we're suppressing that part of ourselves that then puts up this defense mechanism, which leads to the sarcastic comments or the snarky comments for me. That's how I respond to my discomfort, right? When I don't want to be vulnerable about how I feel or about the fact that I'm hurt, I make a sarcastic comment, I make a snarky comment, I make a joke about something. But in reality, I can be vulnerable. And that day when the tears just flooded out of me, I said to my husband, I said, I feel grief, I feel sadness, I feel heartbroken, because the relationship that I thought I wanted is never going to happen, because we went about our relationship in such a different way. And I understand that the relationship that we have and the path that we took has led us to this much deeper relationship that I could have ever anticipated. But there's still that fairy tale attachment in my heart somewhere, and if I don't let that grief out, then I can't fully be present in the relationship that we're in right now. And so I had to allow myself to go through that process of grief and break open, right? When we allow ourselves to break open, we make space for what's available to us, what's really underneath, what the universe is trying to give us. So this is your invitation to take a look at what's in the shadows, right? What is the moon trying to illuminate for you? What shadows, what's deep down underneath your defense mechanisms, and can you allow it to come up to the surface, to be explored, to be felt through, right? When we process that grief, when we allow ourselves to go through it, then we can release it. And that's what the 10 of Wands is about. It's about releasing, about letting go of the burdens, letting go of the limiting beliefs, letting go of the things that are keeping us from getting to what the Toltecs call the great destiny, right? And the great destiny is our enlightenment, our in the Nahuatl word, in the Nahuatl language, there is no word for enlightenment. It's flowering, right? And it's the becoming. It's becoming who we are, who we were always meant to be. And sometimes we don't allow ourselves to become, to flower, to bloom, because we're busy thinking about what everybody else wants us to be or do, or thinking about the expectations our parents or society puts on us. So when we let go of those limiting beliefs and those burdens, we can move forward. We can start tapping into what's really underneath it all, what's in the shadows that we haven't allowed to come up to the surface, and we can fully be vulnerable and let our hearts explode open. So I hope that reading resonated with you. If so, leave a comment. Let me know if you have any questions or anything you would like for me to dive into for future readings or lives. I am also offering readings right now. They're 8-card readings for $44 until August 12th. So you can DM me if you want to get in on that. After that, my readings go back up to $55. I also do Aztec birth chart readings if you're interested in that. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for spending time with me. And I wish you an amazing rest of this Lionsgate portal. I hope you tap into your sovereignty, into your royalty, your regalness, and really feel what's underneath the surface, right? Feel into that fire, that internal fire, and allow yourself to come out and play in the sun. So have an awesome Tuesday, and I love you. Bye.